All right, so look, if we learn one thing about Chicago, it is that is the place you go if you want to die. All right, Chicago is not playing games. Chicago's a wasteland. Delete it off this continent and let's get it over with. All right, now this right here is the deadliest McDonald's in Chicago. This is the place you should never, ever, ever go, because you gonna die for that Big Mac with a side of chicken nuggets. It's gonna be the end of your life, and it's just not worth it. All right, we finna react to it. Let's see what's going on with this one. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check out the other channel. Other than that, let's get into this and see what's going on.
McDonald's in Chicago can be a dangerous place. It's not just a spot to grab food. Some people lost their lives there. Shootings have happened in parking lots, drive-thrus, even while people were just sitting in their cars.
A wild one too.
Some were targeted. Others were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. These are real stories that show how fast things can turn deadly. On April 18th, 2021, a mass shooting in the McDonald's drive-thru.
A mass shooting in McDonald's is crazy.
Left a 7-year-old girl dead and her father critically wounded. The girl, identified as
Oh, my bad, y'all. This is the most deadly McDonald's, not the one, not plural. Not one, but plural. So I guess there's multiple. Either way, just don't go to McDonald's in Chicago, all right?
Jaslyn Adams and
Damn,
her 29-year-old
a little girl
father,
got hurt in
Jonte
this.
Adams, was sitting in a car at the McDonald's at 3200 West Roosevelt Road when a silver Audi pulled up behind them and 2 masked gunmen opened fire. Jaslyn was struck multiple times and later died at Stroger Hospital. Her father was shot in the torso and hospitalized in serious condition. Police later arrested 18-year-old Marion Lewis, who was found with an AK-47 and charged in connection with the case. 2 others, 21-year-old Damon Goody and 21-year-old Devontae Anderson, were also charged. Authorities alleged that Lewis was the driver and that Anderson and Goody were the shooters. All 3 have denied the charges. On May 19, 2022, chaos erupted outside the McDonald's located at the corner of Chicago Avenue and State Street in the near North Side. Around 10:40
So that's about downtown.
An argument between 2 groups spiraled into a mass shooting. 9 people were shot.
9 people at a McDonald's drive-thru is insane. Guys, that is actually what you just said, a mass shooting. Wow. Dude, what the hell is wrong with Chicago?
2 of them being 31-year-old Anthony Allen and 30-year-old Antonio Wade were killed. Witnesses described people running for cover as shots rang out and glass shattered across the sidewalks and subway entrance. Police quickly arrested 21-year-old Jalen Sanders, who was found with a gun and later charged with 2 counts of murder and multiple counts of attempted murder. Another man, 20-year-old Cameron Abram, was also arrested and charged in connection with the shooting.
Damn, bro, you could get a little bit of we could get a little bit of moisture in that motherfucker. That'd be a lot better. And just like he could make it work if he put a little moisture in his hair. I ain't gonna lie.
Investigators say Sanders admitted to the shooting.
He looked like a crocodile.
Others may have been involved. On November 10th, 2022, around 2:50 p.m., a drive-by shooting took place outside the McDonald's at West 95th Street and South Lafayette Avenue on Chicago's far south side. A vehicle pulled up to the sidewalk and gunmen opened fire on 3 people. 29-year-old Rodney James Strong was shot multiple times and later died at Advocate Christ Medical Center. A 27-year-old man was shot in the back and a 49-year-old woman was shot in the arm. Both survived. Police found shell casings scattered across the sidewalk, but as of the latest reports, have not made any arrests. These incidents reveal clear patterns. Shootings
Hey, I have a prediction that AI is gonna make all of this a little better crime-wise, because I think it's going to start being harder to get away with murders and stuff as technology goes on and on and on. Because if you look at it right now, it's a lot harder today to get away with murder than it was in the 80s. So I think as AI cameras, they could do face recognition and all that. I think very, very soon you're going to see it to where a lot of people are going to get caught and the incarceration rate is going to go through the roof. That honestly potentially could help crime a little though, but I don't know. Other problems raised, but that's a story for a different video.
McDonald's almost always happen outside in drive-thrus, parking lots, or sidewalks, often involving attackers firing from moving vehicles. Certain locations have repeatedly been targeted, notably restaurants along the 95th Street corridor on Chicago's south side. Tragically, some of the victims are innocent bystanders, children, employees, or customers who were just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
That's
On
how the
August
hood kind of
17th,
works, right?
2023, a shooting occurred at the McDonald's at 5200 South Lake Park
Oh, this is an
Avenue in the
employee,
Hyde
all
Park
right.
neighborhood. An 18-year-old employee got into an argument with a customer inside the restaurant. After leaving briefly, the customer returned and shot the employee in the lower body near the alley.
Bro, that's just somebody who wanted to crash out. All right. It's scary that anybody could have a gun, but they just wanted to crash on somebody because, look, I done dealt with some disrespectful McDonald's workers. True, like, I'm being so honest. I wouldn't even go in there and punch them just because I just know it's not worth it. Like, what's the point? All right. So when you murder somebody over a dispute at McDonald's, you wanted to throw your life away. That was not a person who wanted to live. I could promise you that.
Behind the building, the worker was taken to the University of Chicago Medical Center in critical condition, but later stabilized. The shooter fled the scene, and no arrest had been made at the time of the report.
How? How is there no arrest on that? Didn't y'all actually see on the camera who they were arguing with? Who the employee was arguing with? How is that even possible? How is it every time? That's what I don't understand about Chicago. How is so many murders go unsolved like this? Sometimes y'all got the evidence. It's just, what?
April 16th, 2024, just after 12:50 a.m., a shooting took place in the drive-thru lane of a McDonald's at West North Avenue in the Humboldt Park area. An 18-year-old woman was waiting in line inside her car with 3 passengers when a man on a bicycle, who was reportedly a food delivery worker, got into an argument with her. The cyclist pulled out a gun and fired multiple times into the vehicle. The woman was struck several times but managed to drive herself to St. Mary's Hospital.
Wow.
She was later
What a
transferred to
survivor,
Scoville
I ain't gonna
Hospital in
lie.
stable condition. Police
Okay.
reviewed surveillance footage and confirmed the shooter fled the scene. As of now, he remains unidentified.
Of course.
On October 18, 2024, a man was shot and killed while sitting in his parked car in the lot of the McDonald's at 1000 West Wilson Avenue in Uptown. The victim, 45-year-old Randy Joyner, was attacked around 3:45 p.m. by 2 individuals who walked up to his SUV and opened fire. He was taken to Illinois Masonic Hospital where he was pronounced dead.
Masonic.
Authorities say the suspects fled the scene immediately. No arrests have been made and the investigation remains active.
At a Northside McDonald's, video shared on the Citizen app shows the scene this evening at Wilson and Sheridan, and that is in the Uptown neighborhood. No one else was wounded in that shooting. Police have not yet released any details.
This next one was witnessed by 10 kids. On March 12,
Wow.
2019, 26-year-old Deshaun Rogers was shot and killed inside the McDonald's at 740 East 47th Street in Chicago's Bronzeville neighborhood. The shooting happened around 4 in the afternoon, broad daylight, with families inside. Witnesses say Rogers got into an argument with a group that had been approaching customers outside the restaurant. Things moved inside, and that's when it turned
What?
deadly. In the middle of the dining area, with children and bystanders all around, Rogers was shot twice in the back. He was rushed to the
Damn.
University of Chicago Medical Center, but
If you ever go to Chicago, you better be very, very, very cautious about arguing with somebody because in Chicago, they shoot first and then figure it out later. Most people who are normal, have that 5 seconds where they'll think something out. In Chicago, they just whip out, shoot, and then they'll figure it out later. So if I go to Chicago, I ain't gonna lie, I'm putting duct tape over my mouth the whole time I'm over there.
it was too late. He didn't make it. He was believed to be affiliated with the gang known as THF 46. Police used surveillance footage from the McDonald's and nearby cameras to track down the suspect. 23-year-old Demetrius Gibson, a ramen cook from the West Loop, was later arrested during a traffic stop. He was found carrying a 9M handgun, the same caliber used in the murder. Investigators
Nice.
matched the weapon, and Gibson was charged with first-degree murder. He was
Nice.
denied bail and was held in custody. Ricardo Gomez, a 29-year-old man affiliated with the Latin Saints, was murdered on September 18, 2018. He was sitting in his Cadillac in the parking lot of the McDonald's at 4158.
Yeah, see, like, if you're in street activity, you cannot do stuff like that. Like, what? I don't know why people think that you just get to do stuff that normal people do. If me or you on camera or whoever wants to sit in the McDonald's drive-thru and just eat our fries, cool. You got people that hate you. So if they see you in a McDonald's drive-thru, they're going to kill you. I don't understand the thought process behind that, where you're just sitting there on your phone like this, like you're just a normal human. You're not.
South Ashland Avenue in the back of the Yards neighborhood. When multiple gunmen opened fire, Gomez was struck several times and later pronounced dead at Stroger Hospital. The attack appeared to be a targeted shooting, but no arrests were reported at the time. If there's one thing that's become clear through all of these shootings, it's that McDonald's locations in Chicago are more than just fast food stops. They've become flashpoints for violence. These restaurants
clearly.
are often placed near major intersections, close to public transit, and sometimes even across from private housing projects or open-air drug markets. That mix of foot traffic, gang territory, and public access creates a dangerous storm. In fact, studies have shown that fast food restaurants in high-crime neighborhoods tend to be magnets for conflict, not because of the food, but because they act as neutral zones where enemies might cross paths. This next one is
That's facts. You know what? If I ever thought of it, any place I live where you ever you see a gas station like a liquor store, or you see a McDonald's or Burger King, anything along the line of that, of cheap ass stuff, that's where people die the most, if you really think of it. Because if you think of a lot of shootings, very small amount of shootings are like, we hop in a car, drive over to their neighborhood, and get out of the car and shoot somebody. That happens obviously every single day, but most murders are like, you ran into somebody here at the Dollar Tree and you blew his ass down. That you hear that more than you hear, we got in the car and spun a block, to be honest. Like, if you actually pay attention to the news and see like what most murders are, like street murders that have to do with gang violence, most of the time it's at somewhere like a McDonald's, at a liquor store, at a gas station. They ran into each other somewhere and shot it out. A parking lot. Like, that's what I noticed. That is weird. And I think he just explained it, because those places are neutral zones where most people have to go. Because look, his neighborhood's his neighborhood. To be honest, most days I don't want to walk over to his neighborhood, even if I have a plan to do something there, because I'm probably gonna get outnumbered. You just explained that. Yeah, I've always wondered that.
About a 17-year-old girl who was shot and killed outside of McDonald's in Chicago on July 1st, 2022. Tierra Franklin, a 17-year-old girl who was shot and killed outside of McDonald's at 4334 West 26th Street in the Little Village neighborhood. Witnesses say she threw a cup of water at an employee through the drive-thru window. Moments later, 19-year-old Anthony Heredia, who was reportedly called to the scene by someone inside the restaurant, arrived on a bicycle. As Tierra walked away, Heredia pulled out a gun and shot her twice, striking her in the back. Tierra was rushed to St. Anthony Hospital by her family, but was pronounced dead shortly after. Heredia was arrested nearby soon after the shooting. Surveillance footage showed him returning to the scene to retrieve a shell casing. He was charged with first-degree murder and unlawful use of a weapon. Tierra was preparing to enter her senior year at Curie High School and aspired to become a lawyer. Her death marked...
Yeah, you gotta be careful, bro. One moment it probably could be the end of your life. That's tragic, I'm not gonna lie, but... That's gonna wrap this video up. If you live in Chicago, eat healthier, because you're not gonna die from the McDonald's itself. You're gonna die when somebody pulls up to that McDonald's. Other than that, catch me in the next video, and peace.